Man, listen, I had to fight through a cold this week to continue to bring the word that we have for our 15-minute prayer break daily. Every day we do a 15-minute prayer break, 12:30. So this week was coming off the back of a message we shared last week called "I'm Tripping," and so "I'm Tripping" was really talking about like physically tripping, but mentally tripping as well, and the things that like we were coming to the end of the first quarter, and a lot of us have made New Year's resolutions. We made goals. We said, these are the standards that I'm going to live by this year. These are things I'm going to hold true to myself. I'm be consistent. And I was wondering like how many of us had like already started tripping, me included. But now that we had acknowledged that we were tripping, the cry that we had was, Lord, I want to be. And we talked about wanting to be better. Like, Lord, I want to be better. And so we looked at what does it look like to be better? And even to declare that states that we first have to understand that we have made some mistakes, but we want to get better from those mistakes. And so sometimes we look at our mistakes and say, I can never come back from this. But declaring that, Lord, I want to be better says, I know I made a mistake, or I know I'm not doing all that I said I was going to do. Even though I said I was going to give 100%, I'm not giving my 100%. And so help me get better. We then talked about on Tuesday, Lord, I want to be clean, because we realize that sometimes our mistakes are like sometimes when we trip, it's not like oh, I caught myself. Sometimes we actually like fall and we dirty up our reputations in our trips. Sometimes we dirty up our clothes, our outward appearance, our egos are bruised. I told a story about being in middle school and getting to this altercation. And I remember like the next day walking around the track for PE, and the guy was like, oh man, like you got an impediment. He was saying that like my lip was busted and I had like some scarring on my face. And I was so frustrated because I had everything I thought I did. I had changed my clothes. I put on new clothes, new shoes, like new outfit. I was trying to have no reminder or no outward experience showing that I messed up, or that I got into an altercation, or that something was bad. I was like, I thought I was clean. But we were talking about sometimes the scarring that we have, or the experience, the impediment, the dirt, our feeling of being dirty, or what I use, marred, isn't always on the exterior. Sometimes it's here. Sometimes it's here. How we treat things, situations that come up. We have what they call post-traumatic stress, where things trigger us because even though we may have addressed it on the outside, we haven't addressed it on the inside. So we call to God and say, God, help me clean from the inside out, so that these experiences don't continue to make me trip, so I don't keep hurting in the same space, in the same way. God, fix that part of me. And then we went into like, all right, Lord, make me new. Because sometimes I feel like the things I've been through are so intense, or so detrimental to how I experience things, that I don't think just cleansing is going to do it. And so sometimes we ask for new friends. There's a lot of stuff on social media talking about like get around some new people, get around a new environment. You know what I mean? And sometimes like, listen, if it's not working in this city, move to another city, leave Atlanta, go to Houston, go to Charlotte. And there's some people that say, listen, I don't care what you're running from. If it's not fixed here and not fixed here, it's going to travel with you. And so sometimes we have to understand that just being anew isn't always the answer. But God said, I will make you anew. And that I have to change your perspective, how you're visioning the experiences that you've had. Because the next cry that we had was, well, Lord, I want to be used. Like the mistakes we made, the trips that we had, the experiences that we've had have left us in a place where nobody wants to use us the same way. Think about work. In that one time they gave you the opportunity to finish this project, and it didn't necessarily go up to the standards that they had for you. And now your fear is, oh man, I messed up. I'm never going to get the same opportunity again. But that's not true. And so we wanted to talk about what it feels like to have tripped and still cry out to the Lord, Lord, I want to be used. I want to be better. I want to be cleansed from the mistakes I've had. I want to be made anew so that you see me as the self I'm putting in front of you right now. But I also want to be used. And so when we talked about wanting to be used, man, it really touched my soul, because to be used, God is like, I'm going to use you, but the cries that you had previously, I want you to know that I'm going to use you in the space that I have you. Because our last cry was, I want to be made anew. And sometimes it means I have to change churches, or I need to change jobs, or change cities, or change relationships. I don't want you to think that you can't come back from it, and that you shouldn't come back from it and be used in the same place that you tripped. You'll hear a lot about people that committed crimes coming back and talking to people like, hey, I used to sell drugs, but then these are things I took. These are steps I took to get better, to get out of that situation. I need to come back here and share that with you instead of running away and going somewhere new before I've been able to use my testimony here to bless those who may be in the same steps and same tripping, the same falls, the same money puddles that I was once in. And so we really want to look at like, yes, God will use you. Yes, he will make you a new mindset and heart. Yes, he will cleanse you. Yes, he will make you better. But understand that the place that you're in is where he's going to have to use you first. And that's how we did this week's prayer call. It was called, Lord, I Want to Be.